Okay, so that's us done both of your legs, Alexis. I'm now going to move on to your arms. When doing the arms, I would rest our elbow on the armrest of the chair. And I'm just going to start off with the fingers. So it's the same principles as before, where you would support below the joint that you're moving, just to give it a bit of stability, and then the joints that you're moving, your hand will be above those joints. I'm moving our fingers to start with. So I'm curling our fingers into mine and then straightening them out. And this is, these movements tend to be quite tight in some people. So it's worthwhile, again, just starting off within the range of movement that you can, and then gradually increasing that range until you can get full range. And again, 20 to 25 times would be the optimum time that you would do this for. Is that okay, Alexis?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So I'm just bending the fingers in and out, and the armrest is taking the weight of our arm. So after I've done that for a few times, I would want to just then induce a wee stretch on the fingers. So thumb behind the knuckles, and stretch the fingers out in your hand. And just hold it there for about 20 to 30 seconds. If there's no tightness, you don't actually need to do the stretch. I would only do the stretch if you're finding that when you get to that end of range, the fingers are tight. If you can get to the end of range without any problem, you wouldn't really need to do the stretch. So you'd hold the stretch on for about 20 seconds and then move on to the thumb. So the thumb is coming across the hand and back. And again, if you're able to do this, Alexis, that's good. If you can just help me with that. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. So from the fingers, I'm going to move on to the wrist, again supporting above the wrist and holding the joints below the wrist, and I'm moving the wrist back and forward through its full range of movement. So the wrist has two movements. It moves up and down, and then it also moves from side to side. Okay, so I'm doing both of those movements, side to side movement as well. And after you've done that, you can then, if there's tightness at the end of range of the wrist, you can induce a stretch onto the wrist joint as well, and the fingers. So you're doing wrist and fingers together here. And it's important to hold it at the end of range. If you're holding it there, you're not giving it a good enough stretch. Alexis should be able to feel the stretch without it being too sore.
Yeah, you can.
Good. From there, I would move on to a movement of the forearm, which is pronation and supination. So I'm changing my hand hold as if I'm going to shake her hand, supporting under her elbow, and I'm just turning the hand over and back. From there, again, I'm changing the hand hold, and I'm just going to work on her elbow. So hand up to the elbow and straight out. And with this one, I'm facing Alexis and I'm rocking my body back and forward. It's important, as I said earlier, that you use your body as well, and that you're not bending over and doing it that way, because that puts a lot of strain on your back. So you need to make sure that your feet are wide apart and that you're going back and forward and you're using your body as well. Okay, so from there, I'm going to start on the shoulder, hand under the elbow again. You can keep your hand hold the way it is. Take the elbow out to the side and back. Just take it up as far as you can, as far as you're comfortable with. And again, my feet are wide apart. and I'm just swaying, I'm just moving my body with the movement. So I'm never moving out with my base of support. I'm moving back and forward with Alexis. And then from there, again, I'm changing the handhold to her wrist. My hand is underneath her elbow and I'm taking her right up into elevation. Again, moving back and forward. And don't worry if you hear a few wee clicks. Is that okay, Alexis?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. And I would finish off taking her hand behind her head and just pushing, taking her elbow back as far as she is happy with and holding it there. And this is a good stretch for the shoulder joint and the muscles in the chest as well. And these muscles are the muscles that help support your breathing. So it's good to make sure that they're not becoming too tight, because tight muscles around that area don't just affect the movement of your shoulder, but it also affects the movement of your rib cage, of your breathing. So it's important to keep these muscles stretched out too. Okay, so that's us finished the passive movements of the arms and legs. As you can see, they're easy to do. You can do them at any time of the day. It really doesn't matter. What is important is that you're putting the joints and the muscles through their full range of movement. It would take a little bit of practice for you to get to know your patient well and to know how much movement they've got. And it will just be time. So don't worry about it if you don't get it right or if you forget to do some of the movements. It really doesn't matter. What's important is that you're starting to establish a routine. If you have any questions or you want to know any more about the whole process of the passive movements, contact your local physiotherapist and they will be happy to help.